I'm Jeremiah, the founder and lead investigator of Investigators of the Unknown. I came into investigating the unknown to find out what is really out there that people do not understand. I had my share of personal experiences with the paranormal, which made me become more curious to understanding these things. That is why I created this paranormal team where we specialize in helping people understand what they do not. Our goal is to investigate and come up with an explanation for these certain things. So join us and our camera crew as we investigate the unknown. Welcome to another episode of Investigators of the Unknown. Tonight we are actually in our hometown, Fall River City, Massachusetts, to investigate the Lafayette Durfee House. You don't mind that song, do you?
No.
Alright, like I just said before outside, we're at the Lafayette Durfee House in our hometown, Fall River City, Massachusetts, and we're here with Dave Jennings, who's going to give us a tour and some history on the place.
Oh, good evening. This house was built in 1750, and the original location of this house was up near the Superior Courthouse up on North Main Street. It was moved down here in 1875. Colonel Joseph Durfee was the commander of the Fall River Militia at the Battle of Fall River, and with 20 militiamen he repelled 120 British troops that had landed here at the mouth of Quikasham River to burn a sawmill back in 1781, May 31st, 1781. The British thought that the Fall Riverites were building boats in order to invade Aquidneck Island to drive the British out of Newport. Thomas' father, Joseph, was a lawyer and a colonial representative in the colonial legislature in Boston. Joseph owned from Central Street to President Avenue and from the river up to North Watuppa Pond. That was the Durfee estate. They owned slaves, they had indentured servants, and they did logging and farming and raised goats and sheep as their livelihood. We're standing now in the parlor, the front parlor. This is where the people would have been received, their guests would have been received and entertained while dinner was cooked and being served. The floors are original to the house. The exterior walls are original to the house, and as well as the framing is post-and-beam construction. Like I said, the house was built in 1750, around circa 1750, when this Fall River area was still part of Freetown, Mass. So we have 5 working fireplaces in the house. The house was restored in 1973. Now if we come over here into the living area, this is the keeping room, or the kitchen. We have the hearth here. This actually works. We do cooking classes with 5th graders here, colonial cooking, colonial history. Behind you is the gear that a militiaman would have standing ready, the Fall River Minutemen. Back in the 18th century, the gun law was that you had to own a gun. If you were a male between the ages of 16 and 60. You were part of the militia that would defend the town and also be called up to defend other cities and towns in the Commonwealth. Okay. Over here we have portrayed a indentured servant. She would be a housekeeper, domestic servant. Over here we have portrayed as a mannequin one of the slaves that the Durfees owned. They owned approximately 4 to 6 slaves, and we know this because they were bequeathed in the probate inventory from father to son. Okay. In 1781, slavery was abolished in the colony. And if we go over here, this room, this is the dining area. This would be the formal dining room. The family did not, in the 18th century, the families did not eat in the kitchen. They did not eat with the servants. They ate separately. This is a gown approximately 1750 era. This is all hand sewn. That is silk. and the silver trim on it is about 250 years
I
old.
have to wonder what made them to have a dress like that and have that.
That they thought that in the 18th century that a woman's hips was a fashionable, and it meant that she would have many children. So back then, the large families were more common than smaller families, because the birth rate, the death rate of children was a lot higher back then than it is today, because of modern medicine, and nutrition that we have today. We still have some of our festive decorations up. This would be a sign of wealth, using fruit as decorations. That meant that you could afford to do this. Newport at the time, before the American Revolution, was a very busy seaport, and it still is. And it was a major importation port for fruits and things from the exotic nation. Anything that didn't grow in this area came through Newport. If this house was on North Main Street, it would be facing the water, facing the river. This was supposed to have been Lafayette's favorite room when he visited the Durfees. Lafayette was a general in the French army as well as the American army. Washington gave him a commission, and he was the liaison officer between the French fleet and French soldiers, French army, and the American forces here to drive for the invasion of Aquidneck Island, to drive the British on Newport. We have it set up as a colonial bedroom. We have, and what you'll see in most of the rooms, you'll see cradles for the babies. They did not have childcare back then. They took the babies wherever they went. Okay, so just about every room has a cradle in it. This here is, you can see as Lafayette would be, he was a very tall man. He has a...
He's about, what, 6 feet?
Yeah, he was over 6 feet. Back in the 18th century, men wore wigs. They would shave their heads. That was the fashion of the day. And inside their homes, they would wear a cap, because these houses were very cold, especially in the wintertime. So to keep their heads warm, they wore caps inside their homes. But they usually shaved their heads and wore wigs. And the more curls that you... The more curls that you had in your wig, the higher status that you had in society. This is actually a cane, and they would have carried this and this as well when they went out. You have to remember, there's no police department, so we feel that we use it as a club.
That would definitely do some damage.
And
I watch a lot of the Black Revolutionary War movies.
yeah, and this is a
Oh, that's like a door handle.
yes, it is. Yeah, just like one. And of course, the gentleman back then would have been trained in. He would be a true Renaissance man. He would have been trained in how to use a sword, in fencing. He would have been trained in musical instruments, speak a foreign language, and how to defend himself and his family. So this is another room. This house is rather large. If we go through the other area again, we can see how large this house really is. We have it set up as a bedroom. Like I said, we have corsets. This is a corset, but a set of stays, they were called in the 18th century. And this is a set of stays for a 6-month-old baby. The women wore these throughout their lifetime. Okay. During the early 1900s, this was transformed into a apartment house. From 1937 to 1973, it was an apartment house. This is still part of the original house. There's an L. We're standing in the L now, and that goes back here. And below us is the tenant's apartment. So you can see it's a rather large house. There's still another floor, if you'd like to go up there.
Yeah.
You want to try going up there? Okay.
Shoot at the light.
Okay. You can see this is, when I say this is supposed to be, if you come over here, you can see how this joint is put together. On this side here, there's a tenon, and that fits right through there. It's all carved out, and then it's pegged. And that's what's holding this house up.
One of the original nails.
Yeah. But you come on, just come on over on this side.
Oh.
Just right here. See how the joint is? The tongue goes in here, and then it's there's a hole in the tongue, and then it's pegged right into the rafter.
Now, is this an area that people want to live in, or?
This is probably would have been the servants' quarters up here.
Alright.
The domestic servants, they probably would have lived here.
So that wouldn't have been like the slaves, right?
No, they
No.
probably would have lived in another building outside. On
so you mean
the
more
property.
like the maids and stuff?
Yes,
Alright.
right. The maid, maybe a cook, a body servant, you know, a butler.
Oh, would this been like the original wallpaper?
No, I think this has been, you know, like through the years, they've redone this house, but you can see how wide the planks are on the flooring. This is, you know, this is milled probably right here in Fall River, because they did a lot of cutting up in the cocoa cup and the sawmills right down the bottom of the hill. It's a very interesting house with a lot of history.
Now that would have been another room too, right?
Right.
Is there any servants, maybe any slaves, that the Durfees want to own here? If so, you can communicate with us through this piece of machinery here.
Maybe from that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's the bunk. It's the
Smoke detector.
smoke detector.
This here is an EVP. It's for an electronic voice phenomena. It will pick up spirits' voices that we can't hear with our own ears, and sometimes can't pick up with a camera or any other thing. So we use these so that way we can hear them when we play it back. This is an EVP session with Jen and Jeremiah.
In the service quarters, the kitchen.
Is there anybody in the room with us tonight?
So again, like I was saying earlier, if you know, we've got this here, but if you don't want to communicate with us on this, no, please communicate with us through this. You can speak through it and let us know what you're trying to say to us when we play it back.
If you are here with us, could you give us a name? Could be your name or a name of somebody that you know.
I also want to say too that if you also speak French, which I know would have been common in your day, which would have been to speak both English and French perhaps. If you're maybe afraid to say something in English, you're more than welcome to say it in French on this device here. Just something to let us know that you're here.
Doll's kind of creepy looking. I'm just standing there. It looks like it's looking at me with no eyes.
Jock.
As for who?
Jock.
Jock?
He was the slave that was mentioned in the probate.
Is Jock here? If you're here and you're scared, I understand, but just want to let you know you don't have to be scared anymore. So if you are here with us, Jock, please speak to us if you can through this device here, or perhaps maybe like the lights up here to let us know that you're here.
Can always let him borrow some of your energy too. So that way he can light it up again.
Yes, Jock, like Jen just said, my name is Jeremiah, this is Jen, and like Jen just said, if you need some energy, we've got things here that you can grab energy from to communicate with us, or you can even use some of my energy if you like, to, so that way you can communicate with us.
You're welcome to take some of my energy also for a little while, just to light the pretty lights up for us.
Would Chuck have been a child?
No, he was an adult. They were not named, but there was a Negro woman. That's what they were called in the probate, and a couple of Negro children that were willed down from Joseph Durfee to Thomas Durfee.
If you want, Chuck. We also have another device here that you might be able to help you communicate with us.
Just a little EVP note, that was Jeremiah changing the batteries for the ghost box.
Alright, right now we're going to do what's called the spirit box section. Scans through radio frequencies, I think right around about like 13 stations, and it said that since this static here that you're hearing is actually considered white noise, and it's stated that if a spirit wants to communicate, it can use this to speak with us in what's called real time. So, here we go. Jock, are you here with us?
We brought in another machine for you to communicate with us. It'll help us hear anything you have to say to us right now. Sounds like hello. It'll help us hear anything you have to say to us right now. Sounds like hello. It'll help us hear anything you have to say to us right now. Sounds like hello. It'll help us hear anything you have to say to us right now. Sounds like hello.
Did you just say hello? Was that you? Was that you? Was that you? Was that you? Did you just say your name? That was you. Can you say it again? Chuck, if you're in here, or who's ever in here, if you can, please let us know your name through this. And can you also let us know what this is? Is this a powder bomb? Oh, powder corn? Maybe one of the servants or the maids in here. There may be any children in here. Could you maybe perhaps rattle the musket up there for us? Oh, Joe, I just want to say if you are in here, and that was you who said hello when we first put this on, can you just say maybe hello one more time to let us know you're here? Would you maybe like us to leave? Alright, well how about this? I guess it seems like you don't want to communicate with us anymore, so I'm going to shut this off for now, and I'm going to go into another room. And maybe I'll come back down here later to see if you want to maybe communicate with us. It sounded like it just said okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he said okay.
And maybe I'll come back down here later to see if you want to maybe communicate with us. It sounded like it just said okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he said okay.
And maybe I'll come back down here later to see if you want to maybe communicate with us. It sounded like it just said okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he said okay.
And maybe I'll come back down here later to see if you want to maybe communicate with us. It sounded like it just said okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he said okay.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like, okay.
I heard that in here. Okay.
Is that how they want to talk back then? Okay.
Not sure. But don't forget, there's other families that live in this. And
I know when we first put it on and I started talking.
Said hello, clear as day.
Right. But don't forget, there's from 1750 from 1836 was the Durfees. Then it was the Rodmans, then it was the Anthonys, then it was the Lewins, then there were various other people that lived in this house. It was an apartment house, there were 3 apartments in here. Now, if they would have waked anybody, it probably would have been in one of these 2 rooms here. Because they wake people in parlors. They waked them at home back then, back in the 18th century. There were no funeral directors, no funeral homes.
Oh, they used to lay them out on the
Right.
table or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
There are
does this
also-
go right here? Or?
Yep.
All right.
There are also 2 British soldiers that were killed at the hands of the Durfees during the Battle of Fall River. This was Charles Vernon and William
Yeah.
Danks, who were privates in the 54th Infantry Regiment.
Well, I'm going to head upstairs and I'm going to investigate that myself. And Jen's gonna stay down here and investigate this for a few minutes.
I'm going to be investigating by myself in this area here. And we're gonna see what we can get. Is there anybody inside this room with me? Would you like to talk? I have here 2 devices that will help you to communicate with me. One is called a spirit box. It'll help me hear you when you talk to me. And this other one is for letting me know that you're around. This light will light up if you walk by it or touch it. You have a very beautiful home here.
Just want to let you know I'm coming upstairs, and again, I don't mean any harm to anyone that might be up here, any servants or something, but if you don't mind me asking, do you maybe like how the house looks today?
Now I just want to let everyone at home see exactly how dark it is in this place, especially once when we shut the light off on the camera. And this is exactly what we see. Alright, so as you can see, here's a room I'm in. This would have been where, like, we were just told where the maids or servants want to stood. So, again, here we go. See, this is how dark it is up in here. Maybe I'll just keep the light off for a minute. Anyone up here with me? So you can communicate if you like.
If you're here, would you like to talk? There's no reason to be afraid of me at all. I'm only here just so that way I can learn more about you. None of the devices I have will harm you in any way. Are you happy with the way the house looks?
Is anyone up here with me? If so, could you maybe please come and communicate with me? I don't mean any harm. I just want to know if someone's up here with me. Now again, if any maids or servants is here with me and you'd like to communicate, you can do so. I won't do anything or any harm to you. If you'd like me to leave and maybe go downstairs, I will do so. I know what's over here. Gotta be careful. Look at this. This is the danger we sometimes put ourselves in as paranormal investigators, just to investigate the unknown and or paranormal. Ow, look at that. I just got whacked in the head with a stick. I'm guessing that these would have been crawl spaces. And actually, if we look down here, I think that might be where Jen is down there. Just as I said upstairs, sometimes when you recreate a certain scene from a certain era of time, sometimes it helps spirits to communicate, especially if there's any around that might remember that certain era. And Dave Jennings was nice enough to say that he would try to recreate on how they probably would have lived or what they would have done back in that time. So now the focus is just on him, and I just want to see if maybe if him recreating something might perhaps stir up some more activity than the little bit that we've already gotten tonight.
What I'm going to do is, in the morning, I plan on rising early, go down to the river and do some fowling. So I'm going to check my equipment here to make sure that I have appropriate cartridges and powder and shot in order to go duck hunting in the morning. So I'm checking my cartridge box here. Make sure that I have enough cartridges, enough gunpowder in my powder horn. My canteen will be filled with water. My haversack might contain some bread and cheese that I'll bring with me for lunch. Okay. And of course my musket. This is my personal firearm. And I will bring my musket tools with me to make sure I have enough sharpness, and my frizzen shall be clean. I will bring more powder and ball in here, in my hunting pouch. I'll bring my knife with me. In order to gut the ducks and clean them out when I shoot them. This is my home defense weapon, as well as my tool for putting venison and meat on the table. Was given to me by my father, and it is a very cherished heirloom in our family. And I hope to give it to my son someday. rise early. Maybe Jock and I will go down to the river, maybe not. I will see what my wife has plans for him. She always has an itinerary plan for the help around here, to make sure things get done in a timely manner. He is the overseer of the rest of the workers on the farm. You could ask Mr. Durfee if he is angry that he never got repaid by the government for selling his land to help finance the American Revolution.
We're gonna do another spirit box section. Mr. Durfee, if you're here with us, are you maybe upset that you never got repaid from the government for selling your land? What did I say? Sorry, what was that? Can you say that again? Did you say yes? And if that was you that just lit up those lights, can you do it again? Can you light up these lights again? If you are upset with the government for not repaying you for selling your land, please speak through this device to let us know, or please light that up. Also too, I just want to say that I've got an instrument here that maybe you might recognize called the harmonica. Maybe if I try and play something for you, maybe you can try and communicate with me. Maybe if I try and play something for you, maybe you can try and communicate with me. Maybe if I try and play something for you, maybe you can try and communicate with me. Maybe if I try and play something for you, maybe you can try and communicate with me. See that?
No.
You didn't get that?
I might have caught it on the camera. I didn't see it, but I might have caught it on the camera.
If I maybe play this, maybe you might be able to try and communicate.
Okay.
How is that? Could you please say something for us? Yeah, that sounded like a little child. Yeah.
It sounded like it said help us.
Did you just say help you? Help you with what? feel like something just gave me a chill, like something walked in me.
It did get a little colder over here.
And Lafayette, if you are here, would it make you angry if I maybe touched your jacket? Now this is something they want to worn in bed, I think, right?
No, that's the clothes of the day.
Ah.
Looks like pajamas, but we would consider pajamas, but no, that's out and about clothes.
I just want to let you know too that we don't mean any harm. We're just here for answers. So I mean, if Lafayette, if you're here, perhaps maybe any of the Durfees, Rodmans, what else?
Lewins,
Lewins.
Anthony's.
Well, if any of you are here that Dave Jennings is mentioning, please communicate with us. Let us know that you're here. We're just here for some answers. We really mean no harm. We don't even mean to disturb you, but we just want some answers. We've had a few people already try and communicate with us through this device here I'm holding in my hand called the Spirit Box. Let's see if Lafayette isn't here. I'm gonna put this on. Let's see if he'll say anything. Lafayette, if you're in here, I just turned on a device that will help you to communicate with us and speak to us. And again, I just want to say bonjour. Can you say bonjour for us? Maybe one of the Rodmans here. Maybe one of the Anthony's here with us? Or the, what is it? Lewin? Or one of the Lewins? Lewins, Anthony's, Robbins, Durfees? I'm just trying to say something to us, but nothing's really coming out. No, men back in that time, like say, such as Lafayette himself, they would have been more like open and vulnerable to women, right? Yeah? Oh, how about you, see if you can communicate. You're a woman. Be vulnerable. Be sweet.
I'm always debate. Is anybody in the room with us? Is that your picture hanging up on the wall? Is that your picture hanging up on the wall? Is that your picture hanging up on the wall?
that your picture hanging up on the wall?
Can you tell me your name?
What did it say?
Sorry, is it,
Can you tell me your name? Can you tell me your name? Can you tell me your name?
sure, it sounded like it said Scott.
Well, that's good if it said what you thought it said.
Did you say your name was Scott?
Did it just say Brad? That sounded like Joseph, didn't
It
it?
sounded like Allison.
Allison? Is there any Allisons here?
So many people live through here, like, many passed through this house in the years, many families have lived here, especially in an apartment house,
Have you or the staff that works here had any experiences here?
I noticed that, and then other people have told me that when there are kids in the house takes on like a different energy.
Really?
And that's the only way to describe it. It's a happy, people feel good.
So it likes having children in the house.
And the people that come here are, when we have people from the library, the children's library come in with Dave Noah, I don't know if you know Dave. He does stories here, time here during Christmas.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And in April, when we do the Patriots Day, and the places for the children, and you can feel, I don't know, it's hard to describe. And even when the ladies come here from Middleborough, they come down and they do rug hooking here. There's like 20 people, sometimes 25 people in here. And they felt it too. They feel like it's a more welcoming energy, like and these people, I mean, they've never been in this place before, and they say, wow, it's just they love to come back here because it makes them feel good, but that's something they probably would have done in the 18th century, would have been some kind of needlework.
Well, if you want, then just shut that spirit box off.
Well, tonight was a great investigation. Again, got to investigate the Lafayette Durfee House, which is a historical colonial home that's actually still standing. It was originally up on North Main Street, we were told. Again, it's in our hometown, Fall River City, Massachusetts. It was a beautiful place, a wonderful place. Glad that we were the first to come in and actually get to investigate it. So hopefully when we go through some of our evidence, we'll find a little bit more than just what we heard come through the ghost box or the spirit box, such as the sound that came out clear as day. I mean, I'm telling you, I think that right there was what we like to call a Class A EVP. I mean, perfectly said hello. As soon as we turned it on, it said hello, and then upstairs in one of the rooms, when we were trying to communicate with Mr. Durfee, and a child's voice came through, and all three of us, Jen, myself, and Dave Jennings, who was in character tonight, all heard a child's voice clear as day say, "Help me." Why did it say help me? Don't know. Gotta look over the evidence some more and see.